Hey guys, he's here back with another Bitcoin video. So Bitcoin over the past weekend actually did go above the overhead resistance that it just hadn't been able to get above since it put its all-time high back in March. And this was the sixth attempt that we had, and we clearly did go above it. On Monday, we did get a red candle 2.3% down, and it took us back underneath it. But so far, we're finding support, and I think that this looks really, really good for Bitcoin. I still think that Bitcoin's going to go up, start heading towards 70, 80K this year. What we didn't do, so this high that we set on Sunday was at 69.5. But this high right here, the previous high that we got rejected at the trend line, was actually at 70K, and we actually did not go higher. So this high back in July is still higher than this high. And that's really the next thing that I want to see Bitcoin take out is 70K. I want to see it take out 70K, and I really think if it takes out 70K, it's basically a signal that we're going up. And I still think it's going to do it, but we haven't done it yet. I'm going to flip to the 4 hourly because I want you guys to see the price action that Bitcoin's been making since we put in the low at 58.9. You can really see how we've moved up, but what I really like is how these 4 hourly candles right here look. So you can see that we have some support that I drew between 66.3 and 67.3. And all of these wicks, to me, kind of signal that Bitcoin does not want to go down. I mean, look how many times Bitcoin has had over the past 2 days. If it was gonna show any weakness or just go in a downtrend for a short amount of time, I really think that it would have done it because it's just had so many chances. Look at all these 4 hourly wicks. This is 6 of them. Bitcoin had 6 chances to really just break the support level and go down, but it hasn't. And what's even more bullish to me is that it's not even really closing lower than 67.2. It's holding the top of this support level. It's not even going in and holding the middle of it or anything. It's really, really showing a lot of strength to me right now. And Bitcoin can make a nice move up like this and then have start going down kind of violently, because it was starting to go down, starting to get really out of control slightly. Look at this, 0.17, then it went 0.6, 0.4, and then minus 1.29. And then ever since that, it could have kept on going down, right? Kind of faster and faster, but it didn't. It went down kind of fast, and then it just started to mellow out here. And I think that really shows a lot of strength, and maybe we can start reversing this sometime soon and really start making a charge towards 70K. And then once we take out 70K, just start heading towards the all-time high at 73 and then towards 80K. And I think it's going to do that. And even if we do lose this support, I still think we have really great support between 64 and 65K as well. So there's just 2 levels of support that I think are very, very strong and solid that Bitcoin can find if it needs to. I don't even think we need to come down here. I think coming down to this level is completely enough, and then we can start moving up. But so far, it still looks really good, and I don't even think Bitcoin's going to come down and use this support level. But if we need to, then we still can. So those are the 2 levels of support that I'm looking at. And I also, last thing I want to talk about is just compare October of last year to October of this year. So I'm going to flip to the weekly. I'm also going to get a cleaner chart, and you can see, so last week's candle was the candle of October 14th. So if we go back a year ago from last week's candle, it's the October 16th candle. So October 16th, 2023 was this green candle, which was around 10%. If we look back at last week's candle, we got around 10%. And I think one reason why I like to compare these two is because just the fact that we were in a plus 200-day consolidation. And it doesn't look the same. This one here is clearly you know, slightly down at an angle, whereas this one was like completely sideways, right? But I think that it's basically the same and comparable, and we've already spoke about it, so I'm not going to go too much detail about it. But what I find really interesting is that last year, the October 16th candle, it was a nice candle, but it clearly did not break the range high, right? Like this candle did not go above the range. But last week, we actually did break the consolidation range high, right? Like this one definitely went above. And then what happened last year on the week of October 23rd, we got the, you know, the decisive candle. This was a 15% candle, and it clearly took us out of the range. Whereas so far, I mean, we still have 5 days. This candle right now is clearly nothing like last year's candle, right? But I think that there's still time to turn this around and green. Yeah, it might not be like a 15% candle green, but I still think that by the end of the week, there is a really good chance that this candle actually ends up turning green. We'll just have to wait and see. But basically, what happened last year, once we left the range, you can just see these are weekly candles. It's how many of this is like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 weeks straight that Bitcoin just went up. So if we did something similar right now, 8 weeks, you know, something like this, right? Like, actually, let me bars pattern this. You know, like, if we did something similar to last year, that would actually put us at 98K, basically 100K. So I don't know, you know, if that's gonna, I'm probably not gonna play the exact same outcome, but I really think, wait, is it? Yeah, it is. So I really think that, I personally think we're still gonna be heading towards 100K. I still think this week might turn green. We still have 5 days, and you know, typically October is very, very good for Bitcoin. Plus, the election is only like 2 weeks away. We're also getting unemployment data on November 1st. I think that's really, really important. And the fact that it's right before the elections. I put out this tweet saying, like, you know, maybe the unemployment data is favorable because the elections are like 4 days after. So they, you know, they don't want it to make it super bad right before the election. So if it comes out favorable, Bitcoin, in my opinion, is about to skyrocket even harder. And then right after the elections as well, we already talked about what happens. Bitcoin typically goes up. Sometimes, you know, it stalls out for like a week or two, but then it'll eventually end up going up anyways. So I'm still really, really liking how Bitcoin looks. And I think that, you know, it's showing a lot of strength right now, which is another reason that I really like the way that Bitcoin looks. So we'll just have to see how it plays out. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.